Oh man, I usually don't get to talk about sports a lot, but when I do, they kind of do well, depending on um who I talk about. But this one, I want to talk about Carmelo Anthony. First things first, congratulations for getting into the Hall of Fame. Carmelo Anthony was actually one of my favorite players coming out of that 2003 league. Yes, I'm a diehard Bulls fan. Yes, I'm happy that we got Kirk Heinrich, and Kirk Heinrich actually worked well for us. By the way, he is a very underrated player, and don't let Gilbert Arenas fool you about why like he got picked over fucking like Coach K picked Kirk Heinrich over Gilbert Arenas. There was a reason for that, and he won gold with him. So there was a reason for that. But we're not here to talk about Kirk Heinrich. So shout outs to Kirk Heinrich. Um, we're here to talk about Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has always been one of my favorite players coming out. I did watch some of the Syracuse games, and I used to watch him ball. I was like, "Yo, this dude is nice," and I was like, "He's going to kill when he gets into the league." So I always felt that way when Carmelo was in the league or in college. It's like he's going to do well, and let's just say like I I'm gonna be for real with you as president and CEO of LeBron F LeBron gang one of the biggest hated LeBron hated conglomerates. I'm the president and CEO of that. um when you first start looking at the LeBron commercials, it's obvious that they was molding LeBron to be the face of the league. And I don't know if they really gave a damn about Carmelo Anthony, which is why I say the title is what the title is. That Carmelo Anthony is, if I had to compare this to anything, Carmelo Anthony is Vegeta to motherfucking LeBron being Goku. As in, like, can anybody beat Goku and all that stuff? Now, obviously, LeBron lived up to expectations right now, but Carmelo Anthony was never far behind motherfucking Carmelo, LeBron either, to where like they were literally the two best players in the league. Now, obviously, they came out at the same time, in my opinion, and I'm going to keep saying this. Carmelo should have got Rookie of the Year over LeBron, but I felt like like people had such they put the NBA put so much money in on LeBron James that I felt like they was going to give it to him. He should at least got co-MVP like Jason Kidd and Grant Hill did, because if you look at their rookie numbers, they had similar stats. Like LeBron, like he had a little bit more points, but like Carmelo had more rebound, a little bit more rebounds. Their stats are pretty similar. It's just like with like LeBron edging them out a little bit, but Carmelo actually took his team to the playoffs. LeBron didn't. And I don't know why that doesn't count, because the West is a harder division than the East is. And I don't give a damn what Legend of Winning or Low was saying. Motherfucker, they both had both teams that got drafted, the Nuggets and the Cavaliers, the year before was bottom two. That's why they was where they was. They was bottom two. Also, I want to say this, and even though I know a lot of people say, "Yo, if motherfucking Carmelo would have went to the Pistons, they would have won like 3 championships." I disagree. Only reason I disagree with that is because Larry Brown doesn't like playing rookies, and you saw that in the 2004 Olympics where they won bronze, which they should have won gold, and Larry Brown was the head coach, and he wasn't playing some of the new people, which I don't know why. This is like you had LeBron, you had Carmelo, and I think Dwayne Wade was on there as well, and yet you didn't want to play the young people, these young people that's going to be the future of the league. Yeah, Larry Brown. You expect that same Larry Brown to play Carmelo Anthony? You out your fucking mind. He barely played Darko, and Darko has a ring. I just want I want people to understand that, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you would have won 2, 3." I said, "No, he didn't." And I think Ben Wallace said the same thing. It's like, where would he be? Where would he fit? You had Tayshaun. You had Rip Hamilton. You had like Chauncey Billups. They had a squad which in 1 year, like all 5 players made the All-Star game, or at least 4 out of 5 made the All-Star game. That's how deep they was, and they was a team. Pistons was like nothing to be fucked with. Saying with that being said, Carmelo, great scorer, one of the greatest scorers you will ever see. I wish he'd have got 30,000 points. That's one of them, but because he got blackballed, so he wasn't be able to get 30K. And in my opinion, he should have never went to Houston. Or yeah, he should have never went to Houston after OKC. He's if and okay, I'm going everywhere. He is one of the few people that in two and like on 2 teams he scored over 10,000 points. Obviously one with Denver and one in New York where he just scored over 10,000 points. Has 28 at least 28,000 points, top 10 NBA scorer, 6-time All Star, no, 12-time All Star, 6-time All NBA. Obviously he has numbers for the Hall of Fame. I was seeing like should he qualify for the Hall of Fame? It was just like he's top 10 in scoring of all time. It's like that alone should put him in. He's been a scoring champ. That alone should be in it because being a scoring champ is hard. Unless you're Jordan, you do it fucking 10 times. But a lot of even LeBron didn't do scoring champ. He's like once. LeBron has held the scoring title once. But he's played 19 years. Carmelo done played 19 years. I say the same thing about Shaq. I was like, I wish these people to hit like 30K or just so people could solidify them as being good scorers and shit. But if you know anything about Carmelo Anthony, that man can get you a bucket from anywhere on like damn a 3-level scorer. He was like he had 4, 5, 6 levels. That man can hit from anywhere. He's hitting from Curry range before you called it Curry range. I remember the one time like he threw a heat check 3 and that shit just boom. Before we was called that from Curry range, it was like that's heat check. See how hot you was, and Melo would hit there. Like to me, when everybody was on LeBron's nuts, and even D Wade, like because D Wade was obviously killing in Miami and some shit like that too. I was the one that was, always rooting for Carmelo because, like I said, and it's not even because he's from Maryland and I'm from Maryland, but I was also born in New York though. But just like him, he was born in New York. But the fact that he was just a scorer, and I do like scorers, and like this is why I'm probably not attracted, which probably why I gravitate towards Jordan. And I know Kobe was a scorer, but I didn't like Kobe as much. But I like scorers and facilitators or something like that. But someone that can get you a bucket, someone that scores. But the Derrick Rose can score at will. Nate Robinson, those people that you can get you a bucket from anywhere. I know it's just weird. Even Kevin Durant. I like Kevin Durant. Steph Curry. I love watching Steph Curry play because like that man can score from it. Well, Carmelo Anthony. I know a lot of people put KD over Melo. I always put Melo over KD because I think Melo has a deeper bag than KD does. KD has a bag. And don't get me wrong, KD has a bag. He has a very deep bag, but I don't think he has a deeper bag than Carmelo. And I know a lot of people label him as 6'7". He's like 6'9". He's the same height as LeBron. Him and LeBron are the same fucking height. Like 6'8", 6'9", 250, can bully you, but he can also handle the ball. He can post you up. He can shoot threes. When he gets hot, he gets hot. So like Melo was the type of guy that was just like you need someone to score the ball. He is going to score the ball. That's why I like the fact that him on the Lakers was a good fit. And I wish he'd have stayed on there for like another year so he had some of them points. Because he wasn't bad on the Lakers. He did his job on that day when the Lakers sucked. He was like, and they was picking up people. Like, in my opinion, I was like, that be the one you keep because or at least in my opinion, he was the one that was doing fine. It was like Melo was doing his job and he was coming off the bench. So it was just like let him play off the bench and build your team around him or some shit like that. But obviously it didn't happen that way. I know there was times like he could have gone the Bulls. One when we was trying to trade for him and Derrick Rose not before Derrick Rose went to the Knicks. It was just like he was supposed to be on the Bulls. Now I do think he probably did consider it, but I'm pretty sure he like opt out because if let's just say if you were on a Thibodeau team, you gonna play defense. And I'm not saying Melo don't play defense. Melo can play defense, but it's like he plays defense when he wants to. So like he was gonna ride him hard. And not only that, you know how Tibbs is. Tibbs is gonna make you play 40 minutes, if not 42 minutes. Like um, people see that with Tibbs. But you also I just want people to understand that um I think um the whole time like the NBA, and this is just my personal take. I think the NBA liked Melo, but I don't think they really wanted Melo to be that guy or the face of the league. I feel like they had their whole image on LeBron. Like, and that's just my personal opinion. That's why to me, he could be easily blackballed like that because you wasn't really expecting him to be the face of the league. I don't know. They really thought he was going to be anything special. And I'm not saying that because I thought he was going to be special, but I feel like the league didn't think he was anything special. So when he started cooking in Denver, it was just like, oh shoot, we actually got some. He could actually ball, like, and he could ball for real. So, but LeBron, and think about this, like Melo, for like the first 2 years he was there, he took this team to the playoffs. LeBron didn't. So it seems like he was having a better start, but he was just running into that West. And anybody remembers the West during that year? The West was stacked. Like you had the Spurs, you had the Lakers, you had the Kings, you had, I think the Timberwolves was still hot. Like to get a playoff spot in the West, it's just one of those things where you literally had to fight for it. And like Melo, well, if people ever noticed, like, because everyone's talking about Melo never made it to the big one, about every team he like went against were teams that made to the finals and or won, like the Spurs. You know how many times he had to play the Spurs, and like the Spurs end up winning the whole thing. It's the same with the Lakers. He's played the Lakers. I think he lost that Western Conference Finals too, where like Kobe, Powell and Bynum and them, like I think that's the year when they won too. But like Melo, he had to. If I'm and I say this, I'm correct. He had the team that went to the finals or close to winning the whole thing. Those were the type of teams that Melo was going up against. So it's just like, oh, he never. Like he had to face some killers like Tim, especially that Tim Duncan and that whole ensemble right there. Like he had to face them people. But I always, to me, it's just like they know the league never loved Melo. That's why I feel like they, try to badmouth him. Even then, like, and like, shout out to KD because this is not a shot at KD. KD is probably one of the best. Everybody's gonna look at him as like a bucket getter and a scorer and all that other stuff. And to me, like I said, I think Melo had a deeper bag than KD. Like KD obviously has a more developed bag, and James Harden, everybody gonna look at James Harden. But every time I tell people like, "What about Melo?" Everybody laughs at Melo. But one thing, if you're gonna pull up the numbers, I think KD's numbers are a little bit better. But I feel like Melo took more shots because he was always the main guy, and that's the thing about like. Oh, is he like a legitimate or is he like a prolific scorer? Like Melo, like he's going to take his like shots, but like Kevin Durant, like he's going to take his shot too. But he also had Steph Curry on his team to make him accurate. He also had Russell Westbrook that he could rely on. Melo really didn't have anyone to rely on during like his whole career. Maybe AI, but that's even sketchy in itself. But maybe J.R. Smith, but like who wants to rely like and J.R. Smith's not a bad player. It's just one of those. Do you really want to rely on J.R. Smith? Because J.R. Smith, he can streaky shooter. Um, that's but I don't know. I wish he'd have won a ring. I really did. I wish he'd have won a ring. That he'd be sure. I mean, obviously he's first ballot Hall of Famer, but people don't have to like decipher it. I was like, because he has other things too, where it's just like he has 4 medals, 3 of them gold. He's a NCAA champion. Like the man, like his resume is solid to where he had to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because it's the basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA Hall of Fame. Even though they're well, most people are there are NBA players, but they do stuff for collegiate basketball as well. That's why Pat Summitt is in there. That's why like you see Coach K in there. If he's not in there right now, he's going to be in there soon. Where do I have him on the best scorers list? 2. It's Jordan, and then there's Melo, and then there's everybody else. And I know a lot of people who's just like, really? Like, yeah, and you probably going and I'm pretty sure like they're going to bring up a lot of stats that's probably back up their statement. But to me, Carmelo Anthony's one of the best scorers I done seen where it was just like you knew that when he was get to his spots and he's throwing it up, it's going in. Like he was that automatic, especially like he's an inside out player. So he kind of like need to get his shots from like the mid range and then start cooking. Like this is why like him and Houston didn't work because he was saying, "Oh, you taking away his shots, you taking away his bread and butter to be a 3-and-D player, which he wasn't." And this is why, and I say, I would rather be the best player on a terrible team than the third best player on a winning team. And maybe it's just like selfish. Yes, that is selfish because I'm going to make sure I get my points. And you don't care. It's like if you're like the best player on a bad team, no one really cares. You just here to get your buckets. But the other thing is you can teach, like, because usually they have young people on there. They'll have young people on there. You can teach them a game and all that other stuff. I would rather do that. Like what CP3 was doing with Oklahoma City before he got traded. Or he had Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and all that. I think Chris Paul do. Now he was at Golden State, and now he's in San Antonio with Wemby. Like, I would rather have that because if I'm the third best option on, let's just say the Heat, and to me they do Chris Bosh dirty, and this is just my solely opinion. I think they do Chris Bosh dirty because people forget about Chris Bosh. It was a big 3, not no big 2. It wasn't LeBron and Dwayne Wade. It was LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. And sometimes Chris Bosh, he gets sidelined, even though there was times where he was the best player on the team, or he was the one that's keeping the plays alive, or he was the one that you really should like, hey, you might want to watch out for this dude. He can cook you. It's like that's why I feel he played this role, but a lot of people don't give him a lot of recognition. And, they say, oh, that was LeBron's team on the Heat. And I always say, well, not necessarily. But I think a lot of people look at it like a hero and the sidekick. I say you can't really look at it as a hero and the sidekick. Look at it more like the Temptations. Dwayne Wade was Otis. And LeBron was David Ruffin. It's just go ahead, let him sing it. Let him sing lead. But I'm just gonna be in the cut. It's just like you fuck it up here, you fuck it up here, and all that other stuff. And that's that's how I look at the Miami Heat. As in like instead of the big 3 or the big 2 that everybody was going to talk about, I look at them as the Temptations and LeBron as David Ruffin. So That's it. Um, man, like I know this the one knock on him is that he's never gotten a ring, but like I said, every person that he played, they're the ones that end up getting a ring. So like he's always had a tough road. Like the bronze road to the finals to me is easy as hell because he can't ball. He can't bully people into a basket. Like that was mostly his game before he developed the just shot. Like he used to just bully people. But the Carmelo to me was always a complete player. He will always be a complete player to me. So that's really all I gotta say. Carmelo, if you ever find this, congrats on you getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Until then, my name is Mosquito Fly, and I'm out. Peace.